With a massive net worth of $165 million, Scarlett Johansson has definitely come a long way from living on food stamps as a child. Hers is a childhood story filled with financial limitations, a painful divorce, and welfare packages that helped them get through the rough days. But that's all in the past, as this actress has turned her fortunes around massively. Today, Scarlett earns nothing less than $15 million from her movie roles, and she rakes up to $35 million in bonuses for her feature in the Marvel Universe, making her the highest paid actress in the world. So how did this born and raised New Yorker move from the bottom of the ladder to the lovable Black Widow in the Marvel series? Here is the unfiltered story of Scarlett Johansson. Surviving a tough childhood. Despite being born to a Danish father and a Polish mother, Scarlett Johansson is a true blue New Yorker. However, she didn't grow up experiencing the posh areas of the city, as the Avengers star had a much more difficult childhood than her current Hollywood lifestyle. Scarlett attended an elementary school in Greenwich Village and depended on the public schools program for transport and food on most days. Every year, her parents and her 4 siblings, including her twin brother, would move from house to house until they finally settled in a housing development for lower middle-income families. Scarlett Johansson was born on November 22, 1984. Her twin brother, Hunter, arrived just 3 minutes later. Her dad was an architect who loved sharing his passion for building and design with his children. They would always join him in visiting design museums. However, Scarlett Johansson fell more in love with her mother's passion for movies, and this was what changed the course of her life forever. Scarlett's mother enrolled her at the Lee Strasberg Theater Institute at a young age, and then she improved her skills further at the Professional Children's School in Manhattan. The journey to glamorous Hollywood. For someone absolutely in love with acting, it wasn't hard for Scarlett to fit into the rigors of the industry. However, she was a little too enthusiastic that it sometimes put other kids off at auditions. Every time she got a rejection, her mother would remind her that she should try something else as soon as acting stopped being fun. However, if she'd quit at that moment, we would never have been graced with her presence on our screens. Can you imagine a world where Scarlett Johansson didn't play Black Widow? The rejections continued until the young actress finally landed an agent and auditioned for commercials. However, her voice was too deep to sell anything convincingly to kids, but that husky voice became important later in her life. Finally, her film debut came to life in the comedy North in 1994, where she was featured as the daughter of a character played by John Ritter. Her role in North set the stage for Scarlett's journey to the top of Hollywood. She featured in the 1995 movie Just Cause, and then played Manny in Manny and Lowe in 1996. A year later, Scarlett was in another movie, Home Alone 3. While many would argue that this was an unnecessary sequel to the Christmas classic, no one can fault the actress's performance in this movie. However, her first big opportunity was a role in The Horse Whisperer, and Scarlett landed this role by doing something that many people would frown at. She lied. Knowing how to ride a horse was a necessary prerequisite to feature in this movie. And when the director asked if she had ever been on one, she answered yes, and mentally checked that the plastic one she had ridden as a child counted. Of course it didn't, but the lie was enough to secure her that role despite having no prior horse training. Luckily, everything worked out in her favor in the end, if you don't count the numerous pains during the first couple of weeks. Meanwhile, her work with Robert Redford in this movie shot Scarlett into the limelight. She got nominated for 2 Golden Globe Awards at 19. This was all thanks to her roles in Girl with a Pearl Earring and Lost in Translation. The role that changed her life. All the roles Scarlett Johansson had before 2010 didn't have as much impact as that one role that made her the highest paid actress in Hollywood. The New Yorker made her debut in the Marvel Universe in 2010 through her role as Black Widow in Iron Man 2. According to Forbes, Scarlett earned a breathtaking $40.5 million pre-tax in 2018 and another $56 million pre-tax in 2019. With almost $100 million in just 2 years, that was more than enough to make her the highest paid actress in the world. However, the movie responsible for this amazing feat was, well, you guessed it, the Marvel series. This actress is not just a great actress, but also savvy with her contract. Can you guess how much Scarlett was paid for her role in Endgame? That was $14 million. The juicy deal also included a 5% stake on the back-end deal, which means that she also got some money from the profits. So, for a movie that grossed almost $3 billion, she also walked away with a cool $35 million. Can you beat that? Scarlett got a similar deal for the Black Widow movie, where she was paid about $15 million up front and got another big cut out of the more than $350 million in profits. There's no doubt about it, her real moneymaker is her role in the Marvel Universe, and it doesn't look like that will end anytime soon. While these may be the highlight of her amazing career, Scarlett has had several other Oscar-worthy performances, including her roles in Marriage Story and Jojo Rabbit, that earned nominations in 2020. Of course, these were lower-budget movies compared to Marvel, but you can bet a pretty penny that she got more than enough for that as well. However, her cool paycheck as an actress is not the only thing responsible for her $165 million net worth. The actress launched her skincare line alongside Kate Foster Lengyel in March 2022. This skincare brand, known as the Outset, has gained massive popularity in the last few months with its serum, eye cream, cleanser, night cream, and moisturizer set. Scarlett Johansson also has tons of luxury brands to thank for her huge wealth. This includes a $3 million yearly contract with L'Oreal and another $1 million per year with Calvin Klein. Other brands the actress works with are Moët & Chandon and Louis Vuitton. And how can we forget the $20 million real estate portfolio to her name, which is a major part of her assets? The actress is truly living that luxurious life. A rocky love life. Maybe it might have something to do with her parents getting divorced when Scarlett was just 13 years old. But the actress has had a pretty rocky love life. With two older brothers, their family of 6 had to rely on welfare and food stamps to get by. However, this put a strain on the family, and by the time Scarlett and her twin brother came around, the relationship between their parents had broken down completely. Eventually, their relationship couldn't survive the pressure, and her mother left for California, while she remained in New York with her twin brother. Although Scarlett doesn't blame her mother for leaving, a huge chunk of her adult relationships have ended dramatically, much like that of her parents. She hasn't experienced as much success in the love department as in her career. With how perfect Ryan Reynolds' 10-year marriage to Blake Lively has been, it's almost difficult to believe they weren't always a couple. In May 2008, Scarlett Johansson and Ryan Reynolds became engaged, and they were the hot Hollywood couple, with lovey-dovey pictures on social media. Many fans were surprised when the pair wed in a secret ceremony only 4 months after being engaged. However, this wouldn't be the first time couples got married quick. A good example is Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas, who were engaged for only 5 months. However, while Nick Jonas's marriage is still active, Scarlett's marriage to Ryan Reynolds ended in 2010, and rumors suggested that they just couldn't keep up with their level of competitiveness. 4 years later, the wedding bells were ringing again, this time with a French journalist, Romain Dariac. The couple had a daughter, Rose Dorothy, and it seemed like this was finally the one. She even has a massive tattoo on her back featuring blooming roses, and this was revealed at the 2018 Emmy Awards. Seeing that her daughter is named Rose, it's not difficult to guess who this tattoo was made in honor of, and how much the little girl inspires her. Unfortunately, the union with Rose's father also ended in September 2017, and Scarlett Johansson refused to reveal the cause of the divorce. Meanwhile, the actress also had other romantic relationships with Sean Penn and Josh Hartnett, but her first love is quite surprising. At a time when girls her age were having crushes on superstars like Leonardo DiCaprio, the 13-year-old version of Scarlett Johansson chose Jared Leto instead. Interestingly, they did hook up in 2004. Well, it looks like the actress has finally found her forever hubby with Colin Jost. News filtered in 2017 that Scarlett and the Saturday Night Live anchor were in a relationship. It took a while for the pair to admit it, but they couldn't hide it for too long. 1 year after confirming their relationship in April 2018, the pair got engaged and are happily married. Ever conscious of her humble beginnings, Scarlett Johansson is on a mission to create more awareness on child hunger in America, and she is an active member of the Feeding America program where she donates regularly towards the cause. The biggest lesson from Scarlett Johansson's story is that we're allowed to follow our passions and dream big dreams. We can never tell what might happen. You may go from earning only a few $1,000s at your regular 9-to-5 to raking in millions monthly. This actress survived multiple rejections and has sealed her name in the Hollywood history books as the highest paid actress in the world. If you loved her story, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more inspiring ones.